Should American companies that manufacture certain drugs be held responsible for overdose deaths from those drugs? That's the first subject we're exploring today. I'm Carl Azus. A district county judge in Oklahoma has ordered Johnson & Johnson, a pharmaceutical company, to pay $572 million for its role in Oklahoma's opioid crisis. This was the first state trial that tried to hold a pharmaceutical company responsible. The crisis itself has been going on for decades. In 2017, President Donald Trump declared America's opioid crisis a public health emergency. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control says between 1999 and 2017, more than 700,000 Americans died from drug overdoses, and that most of those deaths, 68%, involved opioids. These are a class of drugs that include the illegal substance, heroin, but also painkillers that are legally prescribed, like hydrocodone, morphine, and fentanyl. Johnson & Johnson makes everything from medical equipment to skincare products to baby shampoo. It also owns a smaller company that manufactures legal opioids. That's why Oklahoma sued it. Oklahoma says Johnson & Johnson created the opioid crisis there that killed more than 6,000 people statewide, destroyed families, and hurt communities. How could that happen if opioids are legally prescribed by doctors and then consumed by patients? In his decision against Johnson & Johnson, the judge wrote that the company actively promoted opioids, suggested that Americans in pain needed more painkillers, and implied that there's a low risk these drugs would be abused and a low danger in prescribing them. Johnson & Johnson says it recognizes that the opioid crisis is a complex health issue, but that it followed state laws, marketed its drugs responsibly, and that Oklahoma failed to prove that a Johnson & Johnson company caused any harm. It's planning to appeal the decision. The reason this case is getting so much attention nationwide is because it could be used as an example in other lawsuits by other states that are suing opioid makers.
This is a big win for the state of Oklahoma and a first-of-its-kind victory, but the battle isn't over yet. Even though a judge has ruled in favor of the state, saying that Johnson & Johnson has fueled the opioid crisis here in Oklahoma, the pharmaceutical company is vowing to fight back. They are already planning an appeal. They say there are a number of grounds on which they can appeal. They are defending their prescription drugs, saying they are necessary for the treatment and management of pain. They say they've abided by state and federal laws, and they say they're being turned into a scapegoat for a larger social complex problem. But a judge did order them to pay some $572 million, money that will go toward treatment and prevention of addiction right here in Oklahoma. Of course, the payment won't be made until that appeals process is allowed to happen. But this could have even bigger implications than what's happening right here in Oklahoma. This could be a playbook to be used by other states also going after pharmaceutical companies for driving the opioid crisis, and it could have an impact on a federal trial set to start in October. In that case, there are a couple of thousand plaintiffs all alleging that pharmaceutical companies should be held responsible for their role in a crisis that has killed hundreds of thousands of Americans in a 2-decade period.
10-second trivia. Which of these events occurs on December 21st? First U.S. primary, start of winter, start of Hanukkah, or daylight saving time ends? The winter solstice, aka the first official day of winter, is on December 21st this year. According to the Farmer's Almanac's prediction for this winter, the U.S. is getting ready to take a ride on the polar coaster. Sadly, I didn't write that, they did. And the reason they did is because it's supposed to be cold, what the Almanac calls freezing, frigid, and frosty, at least for most of America. East of the Rocky Mountains, the group says the country will see crazy swings in temperature and plenty of snow in the areas that got it last year. Negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit is possible in the Plains states. The South is expected to be chilly with average or above average precipitation. But as far as the western third of the country goes, the Farmer's Almanac predicts business as usual. Cool temperatures with normal amounts of rain and snowfall for 2020. This particular almanac has been around since 1818. Its predictions are based on a secret formula that factors in everything from sunspots to the positions of the planets to the moon's effects on tides. And it calls its long-range predictions, quote, amazingly accurate. Cat rescue sounds a little like a cable network show. It's a way of life for Paul Santel. He spends at least 30 hours a week feeding, trapping, and taking cats to get neutered. The U.S. Humane Society estimates that 80% of the kittens in America are born to stray or feral cats. Paul's work to manage them has made him a CNN hero.
We're gonna go feed my 3 colonies. It's about 25 cats total. Give them some good food, like I do every night. Hey guys. I started doing this because there was a small colony that was feeding them. I wanted to do something for this particular group of outside cats. Oh, look at the gang. Saturday nights is like clockwork with these guys. Now I've probably fixed and returned at least 1,000 feral cats in about 4.5 years. My name is Paul Santel, and I go by Paul the Cat Guy. I love to rescue. My main focus is trap, neuter, return, TNR, and rescuing, grabbing cats off the street and saving lives. That's one. For TNR, this is the last generation that has to suffer outside. Got a 2-for-1 kitten special. It was cleared, both of them went in. You have to put some thought into it. He looked and he ran. Good boy. I spend a lot of time outside waiting for these cats to go in the traps. There we go, we got it. This is the mom of the kittens and the newborns. This is a big litter. Mother of 6, and the day's not over yet. A lot of times you think you're done. You pack up the car, you're about to pull out, another cat comes up. Today I rescued 13 cats off the street. It saves thousands in the long run. It's the late night crew on here. I'm big on Instagram with talking to people. So I'm at this industrial lot. We got 4 adults today and 2 kittens. And there's more cats at this lot. I just like to show people because I'm so excited about the thrill of doing a trapping. It's addicting. So hopefully we get some more cats here today. I'll talk to you guys later, all right? There's a process when you get a cat off the street. You don't know what the cat has. Could have fleas, could have parasites. They need a good look over. I have 11, 3 carriers and the rest cages and traps. And once you get them up to a certain physical standard, I take them usually to ASPCA to get spay-neutered, vaccines. It's just better for their overall health. And then after recovering for a few days, you return them back to their location because that's the environment that they know. That one went left and right. When a cat is truly friendly that I trap, I never put them back outside. When it goes to a foster home, then I put them up for adoption. Hello, baby. Lucy was found up in the Bronx. She looked sick. She was breathing bad, and she just blossomed into this funny, rolling around cat.
It's okay, Izzy. Have some food? Knowing where Lucy comes from and what she's been through, I feel an extra responsibility to make sure she is happy and healthy and feels safe. I'm so grateful that Paul found Lucy. Just feel like it was fate.
Come on, come on. A lot of times people ask me, do you love cats? I like them. What I like to do more than anything is to save lives. Everybody has certain events in their life that make them change on their outlook of life, and they just happen to be cats. So yeah, I love them, but that's not really why I got into it. You want to save lives. This is the greatest feeling in the world.
Noah Tingle is getting ready to graduate high school, so he's making the most of his time trying to embarrass his little brother. Whenever the bus drops off Max after school, Noah is there in costume. Firefighter, football player, Santa Claus, Indiana Jones, a sloth. What's become known online as the Bus Brother is just part of a big brother's way of making some fun memories before heading off to college next year. It's like